Alrighty then, today I'm going to make scalloped potatoes with ham from my food storage items. This was a 5-pound bag of scalloped taters that I sliced on a mandolin and dehydrated. And Lee Ralph and the Mrs. Lee Ralph, if you're not subscribed, you need to. He has a fantastic channel. He bushcrafts. He's working at being more self-reliant. He cans. And prepare yourself, he makes his own beer. Oh yeah, he's an ale maker. So if you're not subbed to Lee Ralph, you should be. So I told him the next time I make a scalloped tater or use anything that I've dehydrated, I'll make a video. So this is for Lee Ralph and the Mrs. And it's dead easy, and I can literally do this all from food storage. I would be using half and half, but if that was not available to me, I could certainly use my powdered milk to do it. I always have cheese frozen. You can also wax cheese to always have it on hand, but we are cheese freak-opotamuses up in here. So anyway, it ain't hard. It's just cooking with your food storage. And a channel I love for her meals in a jar, really knowledgeable about food storage and dehydrating, is CountryLivingEOregonStyle61. Because I'm going to have to consult her because I've been working my dehydrator for about 24 hours and I had strawberries, raspberries, blackberries, and blueberries in there. So I had a tray and I couldn't figure out what the heck it was. Well, it turned out it was strawberries. They ain't pretty, but mine had been frozen. I grew these, so I'm trying to drain these out a little bit better. But I'm definitely going to check her channel because my strawberries, they're not quite as pretty as, say, if you would have when you get them freeze-dried. So I done something wrong. It could have been. They're too wet. I don't know. But anyway, I'm going to consult with the guru and fantastic videos. Very easy to follow. And she and her husband make their own sauerkraut and make it look easy in a crock. So there's another great channel for those who are working on food storage and trying to get her done. Everything didn't turn out like I expected it, but I know they're still edible because I rehydrated about 10 of them and only saved one to show you. But they're yummy. But they could be better. I don't know if all of you know this, but it's much easier to grate, say, fresh cheese, because I'm going to put Monterey Jack in there, than it is cheese, which is how I store it, is to freeze it. So even though it's a lot more crumbly, it's not quite as attractive as if you were to not have had your cheese frozen, but it lets me keep a lot of cheese on hand. And I don't have to worry about losing the cheese because I'm a solar-powered battery backup home, so even when power goes out, I don't use it. But it is much harder to grate it, and it is a lot more crumbly if you were to try to slice it. But cheese storage is cheese storage. It still tastes like cheese. It just isn't as pretty as cheese or as easy to deal with. Freeze it, do it, have some on hand. Cheese is life. Here's a little food safety tip that I did not know, and I learned this in a food storage safety class. Oh yeah. So got to get educated, people. So when you take your cheese out from the freezer, remove it from this package, place it in, say, a Ziploc bag. Do not defrost it on your countertop. Defrost it in your refrigerator, in your cheese drawer, wherever you put your cheese, but leave it open. Leave that package open until the cheese has completely defrosted, and I can usually tell that by hacking it in half. So, because otherwise, you could get a little funky monkey. I don't know if it's botulism, I don't remember. I just remembered, leave it open in my freezer. So, just trying to keep it safe. I don't want to lose anything I have in food storage, and I certainly don't want to make us sick if we're ever counting on having it. And like I said, this is a lot more crumbly, so it goes more places than just your container. But whatever. You could certainly make this meatless. It's just dehydrated potatoes, an onion. I have plenty of quarts of dehydrated onions that I could rehydrate. Cheese, 2 cups, some half and half. And then I'm just doing like a little cup of ham. Ham's been on sale, so I've frozen a lot. And I made ham and split pea soup. But you can do this with no meat. I could also use my canned porterhouse steak chunks. I could use some of my canned sausage to add some meat and protein into it, and to make it more filling and to feed more people. So to me, it's one of those things that is very versatile. It's also very, very filling. It's great just as a side with no meat, but it's something that I think you should have in food storage. Fill them up. People be hungry. So all I'm going to do now is make the sauce for it, which is half a stick of butter, a 1/3 cup of flour, all-purpose. Do not use self-rising. It's going to puff up like a pastry. You're going to have a mess. About 3/4 of a medium-sized onion, and I'm going to saute my onion in the butter. Once they're sauteed into my liking, then I'm going to add my flour, get that thick, then I'll begin to pour in my half and half and keep stirring and stirring and stirring until that's thickened, because that's going to be the sauce that goes over our taters. So, now if you don't like onions, I don't understand not liking onions. I understand like not liking Monterey Jack or cheeses and just wanting the cheddar, but I can't imagine doing this without onion, because I'm a Cajun and the onion is our friend. It's like part of our life. So, anywho, I don't know what you would do then, but anyway, do what you like. It's your dish, people. So I'll show you when it's done, because I got to keep stirring and whisking, and I just have a little countertop tripod whose kind of drinks, and it tends to fall over, and I won't be able to address it if it does without burning my sauce. So I'll show you after. I have a dehydrator going and a coffee pot going, so there's some racket, but you'll be alright. So all I've done is butter a casserole dish. I didn't oleo it, I didn't margarine it, I buttered it. Now, if I did not have access to butter, I have a whole lot of bacon grease. Why? Because I'm a Southern girl. And I'm going to use a food safe glove, because I'm not going to use this whole 5-pound bag of scalloped taters. And I can reseal this 1-gallon Mylar bag. So I do not want to introduce, I have to take out my oxys, any kind of moisture into here from my hands. This is no different than open a box of scalloped potatoes you get from Betty the Crooker, okay? Or anybody else. So they're just scalloped. Now these were thicker. They're going to rehydrate as this bakes. I'm just covering the bottom with these. Then I'll be putting a layer of my sauce, my cheese layer, and then doing it with another one. So I'll keep my food safe glove on to not introduce any moisture to that. It's dehydrated, remember? All the moisture has been removed. So there's my layer. Exciting, I know. Now I'll make the sauce. And I've spread a layer of ham on top of my taters, my first layer. So my sauce is done. All I've done is add a small amount of salt. Black pepper, I usually use white, but I don't mind if there's some black flecks showing up in this. I do not like to use black pepper in macaroni and cheese. I use white. And I put a small amount of tarragon, because we love tarragon. It ain't for everybody, so if you don't like it, don't do it. So it's a buttered casserole, a layer of the scalloped potatoes. You can see from here their thickness. I use this on the thicker mandolin. Takes them longer to dehydrate, but it's life. Then half of the 1 cup of ham. It doesn't look like a whole lot of ham, but you saw it was covering it. Then half of the cheese. So now I'm going to pour on some sauce. Hey, my tripod's staying erect. Must have been hung over last night. So here's some of the sauce. Generally make too much, but it's better than having too little. I could have also, if I didn't have butter available, sauteed those onions, again, in bacon grease, which I always have on hand. It's very nice always having something in stock. So now, another layer of taters, my gloves so I don't hydrate my bag here. Okay, so now it's going to be ham, cheese, more sauce. So there she blows, and it's going to go in the oven at 375 for about 40 minutes. Now I have a glass cover for this. If you don't, you want to cover it with aluminum foil, and then the last 10 minutes take the aluminum foil off. And let me suggest Imaredneckcokerham Channel as well. Absolutely amazing fella. He's funny, he's built a tiny home, and he is cooking incredible meals. He has a Friday night cooking show on, of course, YouTube, and he has an Oster, O-S-T-E-R, if I'm saying it right, toaster oven. He is rocking stuff in there. Turkey meatballs, spaghetti. He is making incredible dishes. And one of the things I love about Imaredneckcokerham is he has a can-do attitude, and it is wonderful to see a man who adores his kids. I think his kids are teenagers, absolutely treasures his children. So he's a great channel. He'll always make you laugh, and I am always checking on Friday night for that Friday night cooking show. So I'm Imaredneckcokerham. I'll show you what this looks like when it comes out. Oh yeah, tater business. Now because these were dehydrated, my time's up. I can slide my fork in, but I'm going to let them go a little bit longer. Usually take one out and test it. Cheese melted, gorgeous. Yeah, these are sliding in nice. I'm going to do about maybe 7 more minutes, and I'm going to turn it down to 350 just for grins. Ooh, it is 8 ways of yummy, and my fork goes all the way through to that bottom layer. What I did fail to do, like in the case of this one, I failed to submerge my, it's very hard to do through your camera, sheesh, tater slices completely. So next time I would say put a layer of sauce on the bottom, but it pulls away very easily from the side. And I've got, of course, let this cool, but this is going to be righteous. Oh yeah. Alrighty then, I'm totally digging it. Very nice. I did have to cook it longer than when I've thin sliced these on the mandolin. This was done with the thicker blade. So it was 375. At 35 minutes I checked it, smushed some of the potatoes down that looked like they were browning too much, put it back in for 10 more minutes, then I turned it down to 350 and did them for 15 more minutes without the lid on. So for 35 minutes the lid was on, because normally you want the aluminum foil on top so that all the moisture keeps from the potatoes and the things melting keeps going back on top of them. The glass lid didn't do that, but they're really, really nice texture. And the look of the cheese is because, remember, the cheddar cheese was frozen. So the look is different, but the flavor is fantastic. So another good food storage item to have, can't go wrong. Now I will put this in a Tupperware and in the refrigerator and quickly wash that casserole dish. So have a great one, and make sure you're storing food. Food is not getting cheaper. Later, Gators.